Are you someone who's preparing for competitive exams or the government exams and you find Indian polity a bit boring and complicated subject? Don't worry, I'm here for you. I'll make it easy and interesting for you. So, hi, myself Neha, and I'm going to assist you in this journey of yours and make Indian polity an interesting and fun subject for you. So, for that, first of all, I would like to start with the fundamental rights. The concept of fundamental rights plays a very crucial role in our whole syllabus. As you all know that fundamental rights are very important topic of our Indian polity. So let's begin with it. What are fundamental rights and why is it important for us? The very first question which arises in someone's mind, that what exactly are fundamental rights? Let's begin with the concept. Fundamental rights. If we talk about fundamental rights, so they are the basic rights that are provided to the Indian citizens by the Indian Constitution. See, the concept is very simple and very easy. These are the rights that are provided to you and I by our constitution. Now, there is one question in my mind, that what is the need of fundamental rights? What was the need of fundamental rights in our Indian constitution or in the lives of Indian citizens? So, the fundamental rights are provided to the Indian citizens to ensure the ensure the feeling of freedom, dignity and equality among them. Basically, the fundamental rights are provided so that the Indian citizen can have the feeling of freedom, equality and dignity in their lives. See how it works. In the ancient time, we all knew that a lot of discrimination was practiced in Indian society. The people were discriminated on the basis of their religion, on the basis of their race, on the basis of their place of birth, on the basis of gender and whatnot. So, in order to end that discrimination and generate and promote the feeling of equality and freedom and the feeling of dignity among the citizens of India, the fundamental rights were added to the Indian Constitution. And if we talk about the fundamental rights constitutionally, so it is mentioned in the part 3 of our Indian Constitution. Let's talk more about fundamental rights. They are applicable without discrimination on the basis of race, religion, gender, caste, etc. Now, fundamental rights are equally distributed among the citizens of India. They are equally provided to each and every citizen. It is not going to happen like if I am a girl, I will have like 15 to 16 fundamental rights, and if you are a boy, so you will have like only 2 to 3 fundamental rights because you are a boy and I am a girl. Nothing like that is going to be there. If I am an Indian citizen, I am also going to have 6 fundamental rights, and if you are an Indian citizen, then you are also going to have 6 fundamental rights. So, as I have already told you, the fundamental rights are mentioned in part 3 of our Indian Constitution. There is an interesting fact about the part 3 of our Indian Constitution. It is that the part 3 is called as Magna Carta of Indian Constitution. See, here we just saw a new term, that is Magna Carta. Now, what is Magna Carta? Let's know that. The Magna Carta was the Charter of Rights issued by the King John of England in 1215. It was the first written document relating to the fundamental rights of the citizens. See, basically Magna Carta was the first official written document which talked about the fundamental rights of citizens. Before this, there was no such document prevailing which talked about the fundamental rights of the citizens of any particular territory. So it was the very first time the document was written in which the concept of fundamental rights was discussed. So in part 3 also we are discussing about the fundamental rights, what are fundamental rights, how they are provided to the citizens, and all that stuff is mentioned in part 3. So that's why the part 3 of our constitution is compared to the Magna Carta. I really hope it is understandable to all of you. Let's begin with the number of fundamental rights we are having and what are those precious fundamental rights that our constitution has provided to you and I. Let's begin with this. So the Constitution of India provides for 6 fundamental rights. There are total 6 fundamental rights that are provided by the Constitution of India to each and every Indian citizen. So the very first one is right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. All the 6 fundamental rights are provided to you, I, and all the citizens of India. So we will understand the concept of these all fundamental rights in this video by talking about each and every article that talks about all these fundamental rights. If we talk about right to equality comes from Article 14 to Article 18A, and right to freedom. Right to freedom comes from Article 19 to Article 22A. Right against exploitation comes from Article 23 to Article number 24A. Right to freedom of religion comes from Article 25 to Article 28A. Cultural and educational rights comes from Article 29 to Article 30A. And the right to constitutional remedies comes from Article 32. See, if you are going to learn these fundamental rights like this, it will be a lot of time consuming and you are going to forget this after a particular period of time. 2. So, in order to save your time and make it interesting for you all and make it easy as well for you all, I have come with a trick, an easy trick, so as to make it easy for you. Let's see the trick. The simple trick to learn. My every friend is exploited, but respect cultural and educational remedies. See, here E stands for equality, friends. F stands for freedom. Exploited itself talk about right against exploitation. Respect. Respects R comes for religion, right to freedom of religion. Cultural and educational rights are there. Remedies stands for constitutional remedies. If you are able to learn this one single line, that my every friend is exploited but respect cultural and educational remedies, so it is going to be easy for you to learn all the 6 fundamental rights for a longer period of time with no time. It will take you like 5 to 6 minutes only to remember this one line and all your 6 fundamental rights are done. I really hope it worked for you. Let's talk about all the articles that talks about our fundamental rights. The very first article would be article number 14. C. Right to equality. Article number 14 talks about equality before law. That means each and every citizen of our country is going to be equal before the court of law. If I have committed a crime and someone else also have committed the same crime, then we both are going to be treated equally before the law. See, I'll tell you one example. If, of course, I am a common citizen of our country, if I have committed a crime, I have killed someone, and the chief minister of my state has also killed someone, then the punishment for the offense is going to be same for me and him as well. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होने वाला that he is the chief minister, so we will not punish him, and since you are a common girl, so we are going to punish you. Nothing like that is going to happen over here in India, because I have the fundamental right which talks about the equality before law. In equality before law, it is clearly mentioned that every single citizen of India is going to be equal before law. Doesn't matter whether I am an IAS officer, IPS officer, whether I am a big politician, I am a big doctor, industrialist, doesn't matter. I am going to be same as a common person before law. See, the Article 14 of Indian Constitution ensures equality before law and guarantees equal protection of laws to all individuals within the territory of India. I hope it's very clear to you all. Let's talk about the next article. Next article is Article 15. Article 15 of Indian Constitution prohibits discrimination against any citizen based on religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. Here a interesting terms comes up, that is discrimination. डिस्क्रिमिनेशन स्टैंड्स फॉर भेदभाव. अगर हम किसी भी इंसान के साथ भेदभाव करते हैं, किसी भी तरीके का भेदभाव हम कर रहे हैं, उसकी भाषा को लेके, उसके जन्म को लेके, उसके धर्म को लेके, या फिर उसके प्लेस ऑफ बर्थ को लेके, उसके जन्म स्थान को लेके, तो ये एक क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस माना जाएगा, क्योंकि आर्टिकल 15 ये क्लियरली बोलता है कि आप किसी भी इंसान के साथ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन प्रैक्टिस नहीं कर सकते हो, ना ही आप उस चीज को बढ़ावा दे सकते हैं. यू आर नॉट एप्लीकेबल to do the discrimination or promote any kind of activities regarding the discrimination. So if you are doing discrimination on the basis of someone's caste, sex, birth, or religion, so you are going to be punished for that, because you are violating the fundamental right of that particular citizen. Because in Indian constitution article 15, it's clearly mentioned that you cannot discriminate any person, any individual, any citizen. So I hope that's clear for you. I really hope that made you understand the concept of article 15. It clearly says that you cannot discriminate on the basis of someone's religion, birth, sex, caste, or place of birth. Let's talk about the next article. Article 16 of Indian Constitution ensures equal opportunity in public job for all citizens. So Article 16 talks about the equal opportunity in all the government jobs. Doesn't matter from which state you are coming from, we are going to provide you an equal opportunity if you are going to compete for any kind of government job. Now there is a debate which continues on this particular article, that is the concept of reservation. Now some of you will think that the concept of reservation is there, then how the article number 16 is applicable to the Indian Constitution. We are going to discuss this particular article in our next session, in our next video, because this one thing is going to take time, and it will take a lot of time for you to understand that the reservation does not violate the concept of article 16. So we will talk about it, but later on. For now you have to just understand one thing, that article 16 talks about the equal opportunity in government jobs or public services. Let's talk about the next article. Next article talks about untouchability. So the article 17 of Indian Constitution abolishes untouchability and forbid its practice in any form. Basically the term untouchability stands for छुआछूत. आप जो छुआछूत की बातें हैं, किसी इंसान को गलत फील कराना, किसी इंसान के साथ छुआछूत जैसी बातें करना, that you belongs to this particular caste, so I cannot touch you, I cannot stand beside you, I cannot sit beside you, I cannot eat with you, I cannot stand on a place you are standing on, I cannot share my food with you because you are from this place, you are from that place. These kinds of behavior if you are doing with someone, so you are violating that person's fundamental right, and which is very offensive and wrong. So the next time if you see someone doing that, or if you are doing that by any possible way, try not to do this, because by doing such things you are violating a person's fundamental rights and you can get punished for that. I hope that was clear for you. Let's move to the next article. That is article 18. Article 18 of Indian Constitution abolishes title to promote equality and prevent distinction among the citizens. बेसिकली आर्टिकल 18 जो है हमसे बोलता है कि आप किसी भी तरीके के टाइटल्स अपने नेम्स के आगे नहीं लगा सकते. इफ यू हैव स्टडीड इंडियन हिस्ट्री यू मस्ट हैव गॉन थ्रू द फैक्ट्स दैट द किंग्स यूज्ड अ लॉट ऑफ टाइटल्स बिफोर देयर नेम्स. अपने आप को महाराजा धीराज की उपाधि दे दी गई, महाराजा की उपाधि दे दी गई, और भी बहुत सारी अलग अलग उपाधि, अलग अलग टाइटल्स एंशिएंट किंग्स अपने आप को दे दिया करते थे, जिससे कि डिस्क्रिमिनेशन के प्रैक्टिस को और ज़्यादा बढ़ावा मिलता था, जिससे कि वो एक सुपीरियर पर्सनालिटी बन जाते थे और उनके आसपास के लोगों को इन्फीरियर फील कराया जाता था. तो ये चीज़ प्रेजेंट डे सिनारियो में हमें देखने को ना मिले, इसीलिए आर्टिकल 18 को इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में एड ऑन किया गया, जिसमें ये चीज़ साफ बोली गई है कि आप अपने नेम के आगे कोई भी टाइटल यूज़ नहीं कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि ऐसा करने से आप अपने आप को सुपीरियर एंड अपने आसपास के लोगों को इंफीरियर फील करा सकते हैं. इट इज पॉसिबल, ऑफ कोर्स इट इज पॉसिबल. सो दिस वर्ड पर्टिकुलर थिंग इज abolished by the article 18. In simple term, article 18 says that you cannot add any title after or before your name. Let's talk about the next article. Article 19. Now this one article is bit lengthy and bit interesting one as well. Why? Because it talks about some freedoms a few freedoms that are provided to you and I being the citizen of India by the Constitution. Article 19 of Indian Constitution ensures certain fundamental freedom to Indian citizen, emphasizing their rights to freedom. हमें कुछ राइट्स प्रोवाइड किए गए हैं, कुछ फ्रीडम्स प्रोवाइड की गई हैं आर्टिकल 19 के द्वारा, जो कि हम बीइंग एन इंडियन सिटीजन लाइफ लॉन्ग यूज कर सकते हैं. आइए देखते हैं कौन कौन से फंडामेंटल राइट्स हैं, कौन कौन सी फ्रीडम्स हैं, मेजरली फ्रीडम्स हैं जो तुम्हें और मुझे प्रोवाइड की गई हैं. सबसे पहला है फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन. इंटरेस्टिंग वन. व्हाई? बिकॉज टू एक्सप्रेस ओपिनियन विदाउट सेंसरशिप. ये जो फ्रीडम है, ये तुम्हें और मुझे इंश्योर कराती है कि मैं अपनी जो फीलिंग्स हैं, अपने जो एक्सप्रेशंस हैं, उससे लोगों के सामने रख सकती हूँ, अपनी बात को लोगों के सामने रख सकती हूँ बिना किसी दबाव के, बिना किसी प्रेशर के. अगर मेरे मन में किसी चीज़ को लेके कोई डाउट आ रहा है, कोई भी एक बात आ रही है जो मैं सभी के सामने रखना चाहती हूँ, तो मैं उस चीज़ को रख सकती हूँ. मेरे पास ये फंडामेंटल राइट है कि मैं अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस कर सकूँ, अपनी बातें जो है लोगों के सामने रख सकूँ. देन इसके बाद सेकंड आता है फ्रीडम टू असेंबल पीसफुली, टू गैदर विदाउट आर्म्स फॉर पीसफुल पर्पस. इसका मतलब है कि हम अगर चाहें तो हम पीसफुली गैदर होके किसी भी चीज़ के अगेंस्ट में प्रोटेस्ट कर सकते हैं, हम पीसफुली किसी भी चीज़ को लेके असेंबल कर सकते हैं, हम असेंबली बुला सकते हैं. यू ऑल नो द मीनिंग ऑफ असेंबली. हम लोगों को कलेक्ट कर सकते हैं. हम अगर हमें कोई भी चीज़ के लेके ऑब्जेक्शन है, यूजुअली आपने देखा है कि इंडिया में जब किसी भी लॉ फ्रेमिंग होती है, अगर जो सोसाइटी है उस चीज़ को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करती, तो लोग उस चीज़ को लेके क्या करते हैं, अपोज करना स्टार्ट करते हैं, नारेबाजी करना स्टार्ट करते हैं. उस चीज़ को लेके बहुत सारे एक्टिविटीज जो हैं ग्रुप में परफॉर्म की जाती हैं. तो हम इस चीज़ को भी लेके हमें फ्रीडम प्रोवाइड की गई है कि हम ये चीज़ कर सकते हैं, बट पीसफुली. नॉट, वी आर नॉट अलाउड टू बी वायलेंट टूवर्ड्स एनी पर्टिकुलर पर्सन और एनी पब्लिक प्रॉपर्टी. अगर हम असेंबल कर रहे हैं तो हमें उस चीज़ को पीसफुली करना है, अगर हम प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं तो उस चीज़ को भी हमें पीसफुली मेंटेन करना है. उस असेंबली के आड़ में, उस पर्टिकुलर प्रोटेस्ट की आड़ में आप या मैं किसी भी पब्लिक प्रॉपर्टी को नुकसान नहीं पहुंचा सकते, किसी इंसान को नुकसान नहीं पहुंचा सकते, ये बोल के कि भाई दिस इज माई फंडामेंटल राइट, फ्रीडम टू असेंबल पीसफुली, सो आई विल डू वट एवर आई वॉन्ट. You cannot behave that way. You have to behave in a certain way. Let's talk about the third freedom. Freedom to form associations or union, to create groups for personal or professional reasons. Now you and I have the freedom to form association. That means agar if I want to start a company, if I want to start a startup, or if I want to create a group or association, so I have the freedom to do that. I can collect people, I can make a group, I can form an association for my personal work or my professional reasons. I have that fundamental right. But I cannot form an association which is promoting any kind of criminal activities. I cannot form an association who is ruining my Indian society. I cannot form an association which is going to harm the Constitution of India or which is going to violate the laws of Indian Constitution. I cannot do any negative thing by using such fundamental rights. Let's talk about the fourth one. The fourth one states freedom to move freely. Now, freedom to move freely, to travel across India without any restriction. Now, if I want to travel to Goa, if I want to travel to Jammu and Kashmir, if I want to travel to Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Assam, Bengal, in any state, in any city, in any particular village as well, I can do that. I have the freedom to move freely throughout my country. No one can stop me from traveling to any particular part of my country by saying that no, you are not allowed to visit this state, you are not allowed to visit this city, you are not allowed to visit this village. No one can stop me from doing that. But the government of India can. How? I will tell you that in upcoming sessions. Let's talk about the freedom to reside or settle anywhere, to choose any location within India to live. Now I have the freedom to reside or settle in any part of India. For example, right now if I am living in Madhya Pradesh but I want to live in Kerala, I want to make a house, build a house in Kerala. So I have the freedom. I can go to Kerala, I can buy a property in Kerala and I can build a house or a building there and start residing there. No one can stop me from doing that because this is my fundamental right provided by the Constitution of India. Let's talk about the sixth one. Freedom of profession, occupation, trade, or business to pursue any livelihood of choice. Like, I have the freedom to choose my profession. I like teaching, that's why I've become a teacher, and right now I'm teaching all of you. In the same way, if you love to play football, if you love to sing, if you love to dance, if you want to become an IAS officer, IPS officer, or if you want to become doctor, engineers, or anything. You are free to choose your profession. You are free to choose your occupation. If you want to become a business person, you can. No one can stop you from choosing the occupation of your choice. But again, you cannot do any negative things by using this right as well. You cannot become a criminal, you cannot become a terrorist and say that my constitution has provided me right to do whatever I want. No, you cannot do that. If you want to choose an occupation of your choice, if you want to choose career of your choice, then choose it in a positive way. Don't go in a negative way by being a criminal, by being an theft, by being a terrorist, by being in any negative personality, by doing any negative work, any negative occupation, any negative profession if you are choosing. So you cannot say and you cannot justify it by saying that my constitution has provided me the right that says the freedom of profession and occupation, trade or business. You cannot do that. I really hope Article 19's all the freedoms are very clear to you all, but there are some reasonable restrictions that our government of India can put on all these freedoms. Let's see what are those restrictions and when the restrictions are there going to be and stop us from all the freedoms we have. These freedoms are not absolute. The government may impose restrictions for reasons such as अभी ये जो छः की छः हमारी फ्रीडम्स हैं, राइट टू असेंबल पीसफुली, राइट टू स्पीच ऑफ एक्सप्रेशंस एंड ऑल दैट, ये सारी की सारी एब्सोल्यूट नहीं है. मतलब कभी ना कभी कहीं ना कहीं इन सारी ही फ्रीडम्स पे जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया है वो रिस्ट्रिक्शंस लगा सकते हैं. कैसे लगा सकते हैं? सबसे पहला रीजन होगा सिक्योरिटी ऑफ स्टेट. इसे हम समझ सकते हैं बैक इन 2020 when the COVID-19, the coronavirus thing happened, there was a lockdown in whole country's populations who were forced to stay and at their homes for their own security, right? We were told to stay at our home, don't step out of our home so that we can get protected by the COVID-19. So at that time, if I stand up and say no sir, I have the right, I have the freedom to move freely throughout the country, I want to travel, I want to go to Maharashtra in this season, I really want to travel to Goa, I really want to travel to Agra or wherever I want to, you cannot stop me because I have this fundamental right. So do you think that will be logical thing to say at that time? No, right? I cannot just stand and say that no sir, you cannot take my fundamental right because I want to travel. Doesn't matter if it's an emergency case, emergency thing or what, I want to go. I cannot do such things in that scenario because the government has put restrictions on these fundamental rights during that particular time. Second one being the public order or the court order. If a court has ordered the government to do so, if a court has denied some of our fundamental rights like the freedom of speech and expression, assemble peacefully, like there are riots going on, दंगे चल रहे हैं किसी स्टेट में, और उस टाइम पे अगर कोई बोले कि भाई मेरे पास तो अधिकार है, मैं जो चाहूँ मैं वो बोल सकता हूँ, मैं जो चाहूँ वो कर सकती हूँ, तो वो चीज़ गलत होगी क्योंकि उस पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन में, उस पर्टिकुलर क्रिटिकल सिचुएशन में आपका या मेरा कोई भी डायलॉग बहुत ही एक नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट डाल सकता है. और अगर मेरी स्टेट में, मेरी सिटी में दंगे चल रहे हैं, बाहर लड़ाइयाँ हो रही हैं और उस टाइम पे मैं बोलूँ कि नहीं मुझे तो बाहर जाना है, आई वॉन्ट टू गो आउटसाइड ऑफ द हाउस, so that is not possible. That is going to be unsafe for me and the other people as well. So in this situation as well, the government can put restrictions on these freedoms. Third one is morality or decency. Yes, this is very important. See, we have the right of freedom of speech and expression. We can speak whatever we want to, we can express ourselves, but with a dignity and staying in our moral values. We just cannot abuse someone, we just cannot disrespect someone and say that this is my fundamental right to express myself, I had this thought so I just said it because my constitution allows me to do so. I cannot do that. I have to understand one thing, that the Constitution has provided me this right so that I can protect myself, I can maintain my dignity, I can grow in a positive way, not in a negative way. It has not provided me to disrespect the other people, abuse the other people, and make them feel insecure about anything in their lives. I cannot just say anything negative to a person. I just cannot abuse them. I cannot insult them and say that this is my right, this is my fundamental right. I have this freedom of speech and expression, so I will say whatever I want. I will abuse you, I will say negative things to you. I cannot do that. I have these rights. I have to maintain. If I am doing such things by using these rights, so the government has the right to put restrictions on all these rights, all these freedoms of me as a citizen of India. Then after that comes the defamation or contempt of court. If I have done the contempt of court, if I have insulted the court, if I have insulted the decision of court, and if I am not listening to, and if I am not listening and I am not obeying the decision of court, in that case as well the government can put restrictions to all the fundamental rights. If a case is going on in me, on over me for anything, if I have done some crime, I have killed someone, I have some I have done something wrong which is unlawful, so I have become a criminal, let's say. So I cannot just move throughout the country freely. I have to get the punishment for that offense. I have to get punished, and if I am in jail, I cannot say that I have the right to move as I move freely throughout the country. Let me go, I want to travel, or I want to do this, I want to do that, because I have the freedom. I cannot do that, because in that scenario, in that case, the government has put restrictions on it. Then protecting the sovereignty and integrity of India. If by any of these freedom the sovereignty and integrity of India is being affected, and it is being on threat, and if I am affecting the integrity and sovereignty of my country by using these rights, by using these freedoms, basically if I am using all these freedoms in a negative way, if I am disturbing the Indian society, if I am disturbing the integrity of my country, if I am doing wrong things by using all these fundamental rights, especially all these six freedoms, then the government has the right to put restrictions on all these freedom of me, so that they can protect the sovereignty and integrity of our nation. I really hope all the six freedoms you got it and you understood it.